sexual codes in the temples of Egypt. The intimate sexual details are seen in the Turin Erotic Papyrus. It could have sexual codes of the kings and queens of Egypt. But to understand the sexual gravity, the liberal, mature sexual thinking of the Egyptians, it is necessary to look at the images and codes in the temples of the kings. It is necessary to have a peep in their tombs. And you will be surprised that the sexual codes are everywhere. The whole of the temple of the Egyptians, their tombs are filled with sexual messages. They are in form of codes in the temples of gods of Egypt, thus confirming that Egypt was indeed a liberal, mature sexual society, maybe the first of its kind in the history of manhood. And this also confirms that sex for them was sacred. Something which could be carved, painted in their temples of their gods. The Egyptian pyramids are called sacred temples of the pharaohs, the kings. These pyramids are also called gateway to the afterlife. And in it, there are images, symbols, paintings filled with sexual secret codes. The study of it is called religious psychochronography. In their religious temples, there are statues of deities and gods having sex. In it, Egyptian sex is coded and is symbolically displayed. And with the tombs in the center of the temples, it means that the body after death would have to go to the afterlife. And the presence of sex symbols and codes there meant that sex was an important part of that transaction. That sex was the important part of that transition. Because the Egyptians believed that death is not an end of this life, but a beginning of a new life altogether. And for that beginning to happen, a rebirth was necessary. And for rebirth, sex was needed. And so to make the funeral rituals complete, sex was required to be displayed in this temple or the pyramids, but in codes, in symbols. The images are of man and woman drinking. There is music, codes, party scenes, and the curves shown on the woman body with the postures of the men glancing at the woman. These are all symbolic to the before sex acts, which is followed by the most important image of the kings and the queens sniffing the lotus flower. In the ancient Egyptian times, sniffing of the lotus flower meant resurrection. And these images are similar to those which are found in the Turin Erotic Papyrus. And such images on the temple walls are sex images in disguise. The walls are full of scenes which are of the daily routine life. But when you compare it with the Turin Erotic Papyrus, and when you read them in a sequence, only then you will understand that the daily life scenes are in fact coded messages of sexual encounters. And they are shown as celebration. Thus, putting aside the myth that sex is a sin. And these are profoundly seen in the temples of Luxor.